Hey YouTube, and what is happening, guys? Thank you for tuning into another exciting episode of Side Hustle Tuesdays. You've tuned into episode 67 of our side hustling series. Now, I just wanted to take a quick minute to reiterate why we do these side hustle stories. I see so many people wanting to start businesses, and I see a lot of people really getting hung up on the money aspect. People who get frustrated when the money doesn't come soon enough, and then they give up. A side hustle can be started with little money to no money, outside of your 9-to-5 job. And well, of course, the goal is to make money. There's definitely something to be said for having a goal, having a mission, having a project to work on, and something that is yours and yours alone. Having something that is going to either succeed or fail based solely on you and your efforts alone. Even if the money doesn't come as soon as you like, or in the volumes you'd like, enjoy the process. Have an appreciation for the skills you're learning, as well as working on your side hustle. Have some pride in what you're doing and what you're learning. If you can be patient and think long term, I can almost guarantee you that the success will eventually come. Now, today's side hustle story is a fun one. Are any of you guys out there into personal finance or frugal living? Well, if so, you'll enjoy today's episode because that is exactly what today's side hustler figured out how to monetize. Now, I really love these personal finance guru type blogs, Dave Ramsey, Susie Orman, a lot of these millennial blogs, Mr. Money Mustache, all that stuff. I'm very into personal finance. I'm also naturally pretty frugal and enjoy saving money and being smart with my money. I follow guys like Dave Ramsey and Mr. Money Mustache, among others, and I really have an appreciation for Dave Ramsey. The guy started a multi-million dollar business from nothing at his kitchen table, and long before creating content and selling content was what it is today. So he was a kind of a pioneer in that industry. And while Dave Ramsey does appeal to really anybody out there, he also knows how important it is to know his audience and to get into a niche. Dave Ramsey has a bit of a religious slant to his content. Now, if you don't have to be religious to follow him or enjoy his show, but there are religious references. He's big on giving and being generous, and he uses that as a motivator for his audience, which is to get out of debt, become financially free so that you can live and give like nobody else, as he says. He also manages to do a lot of his courses and trainings through churches, so he kind of has a built-in network of people promoting his personal brand and growing his business for him. Now, in this channel, we've talked about a few other personal finance kind of guru, blog, information type businesses. In an early episode of Side Hustle Tuesdays, actually, we talked about an anarchist lesbian who started a personal finance education business. She felt her group, anarchists and the LGBT community, weren't necessarily welcomed in or couldn't necessarily relate to the traditional personal finance world. However, being as personal finance is an important subject matter and one that everybody needs to know, she decided to bring it to him, and she was actually very successful with it. In another Side Hustle Tuesday episode, we discussed a millennial personal finance blogger. She knows her audience. She knows her recent college grads who are dealing with student loan issues, trying to build a career and a life. She understands their struggles. She also understands young people have their first jobs, are out on their own for the first time, and in addition to saving money, they also want to have a social life and do fun things. And she kind of talks to them about that. She understands their challenges. She can relate to that audience, and that's why she does so well. I guess what I'm getting at here is knowing your audience and their needs and finding a niche can really, really be helpful to finding success. It would be a big challenge just to try to teach personal finance generally to everybody. You're a small fish in a big pond. But if you can find a group of people that you can connect with, relate to, that you share experiences with, you're much more likely to have success. One more example of this before we launch into today's story. Remember a few weeks ago we talked about that dog musher, the 50-something-year-old woman who created kind of a diet, fitness, lifestyle blog program to help women her age feel younger and live their lives to the fullest? Rather than trying to cater to all women, a huge audience, she decided to focus on women 40 to 60 years old. She understood their needs, she could relate to them, and because of that, she had a lot of success. Anyhow, without further ado, let's launch into today's story. Today's story is about a mom from Sacramento named Pam Farley who started a personal finance and frugal living blog as a hobby during the recession. Now, personal finance is a big and popular topic, as well as frugal living. There's tons of frugal living forums online where people share tips like cheap Aldi meals you can make, what are some options for people who want to cut the cord with their cable company, fun cheap activities to do with your kids, all types of money-saving tips. I think the timing when she started her blog definitely helped out. During the recession, people were out of work, people were taking on jobs that paid less than their previous careers, and all around people could definitely afford to save some money. In addition, what made Pam's blog interesting, however, is that she also slanted it towards moms into healthy living and preparing their own food, and this helped narrow down her audience. It formed the voice that she wrote in, and really helped her appeal even more to the people who are into what she's into. Now, what also is kind of interesting is Pam's husband at the time was self-employed, kind of right around the time she got started, and at the time he hadn't yet started taking a salary, so they were living solely off Pam's income. This led people she knew to ask her how she supported herself and her family just on one salary. She would share tips with them about copying restaurant meals and making them at home for a fraction of the price, cheaper free activities to do with their children, etc. She felt if people she knew were asking her about this stuff and were open and receptive to her message, others probably would be as well. Now, initially Pam was doing this more as a hobby than anything else. She was making a little bit of money, but she was really mainly just writing and running AdSense to make a few bucks. She hadn't really invested into learning best blogging practices, SEO, how to create partnerships, how to monetize a blog. However, as time went on, she learned more and more about blogging and started garnering more and more traffic and attention, and she started taking it a bit more seriously and began devoting some time to improving her craft of writing, as well as actually learning how to grow a blog, how to bring more traffic, how to monetize a blog. She also learned even more and more about her audience and tries to keep the content focused not only on the things her audience would be interested in, but also things that fit her site's image and messaging. Now, initially Pam monetized the blog with AdSense. We've talked about AdSense a lot in the past before, and I'm sure some of you even have experience using it either on a blog or through YouTube monetization. Pam's AdSense checks grew to a couple $100 per month, but it wasn't huge, and that's one thing a lot of people find to be the case with AdSense. It's great in the sense that it's a pretty passive moneymaker. Just embed the code and let the ads run. No need to collect money from advertisers or sponsors. No need to rotate banners. However, that said, AdSense pays out pretty low unless you're getting mega traffic. And when we say mega traffic, we're talking hundreds of thousands of visitors per month or even millions of visitors per month. Anything short of that, and you're really not earning much more than beer money. Something I found, and it's also something that Pam's story echoes, is that there's oftentimes much better affiliate programs or CPA programs out there. However, what Pam wound up doing to monetize her blog was last year she was introduced to a service called Mediavine. It searches out advertisers and places ads on the sites for you. Now, you have to have a minimum of 25 visitors per month, 25,000 visitors each month to apply, but it wound up being a really good decision for Pam, and as soon as she switched to that, her income multiplied. In addition to that, Pam is also an Amazon affiliate. Now, for me personally, Amazon is another one of those monetization programs like AdSense, where it's great in the sense that it appeals to many different niches and categories, and it can be pretty hands-off. However, again, personally, I found that with a 4% or less commission, the income tends to be pretty low. Pam's fourth monetization source is partnering with brands for sponsored content and sponsored posts, and she's actually in a great niche for that. Pam actually learned about this method from a mastermind group she's in on Facebook, and she learned how to approach advertisers, as well as how to sell them on the value that her blog provides and how they share a target audience. On average, Pam charges $400 per sponsored post, and that could be a blog post, a Pinterest post, an Instagram post. An example of this in action is, say a company sells some type of Tupperware with ice packs for packing your cold lunch for work. Pam could do a video or a series of video posts about 5 easy lunches to bring into work that don't require heating. I've actually seen people asking this type of thing online before. Oh, I don't have a microwave at work. What are some lunch ideas I could bring in? So Pam's blog post would appeal directly to those people. Pam could then make up some, chicken salad and other cold dish recipes and mention how she uses XYZ Tupperware to pack her kids and her husband's lunches. And for a simple post like that, just kind of intertwining a product into it, she could earn herself an extra $400. Pam's business has grown from almost nothing and now does some pretty serious monthly revenue. On average, she brings in about $3,000 per month, and her monthly expenses are only around $100 in expenses, so really, really low. About 40% of Pam's revenue comes from Mediavine, and I think this goes to show that if you can get a business in this category off the ground, the money can be great as well as the margins, and it doesn't have to cost much to start up this type of business. I think when a lot of people think about sharing knowledge or selling information, they think about doing so in regards to business. All these YouTube gurus, Amazon merch gurus, YouTube guru entrepreneurs, Shopify gurus. I see lots of people who have zero business experience trying to do it because they see it as the only type of knowledge to share. but honestly, nothing could be further from the truth. If you listen to these Side Hustle Tuesday episodes and go through them, we've had someone monetize information on how to move to another country and become an expat. Someone shared how to find cheap flight deals. And we've had a number of personal finance and frugal living bloggers featured on here as well. Any interest you have or any type of knowledge that you have to share, whether it be about a hobby, an interest area, a sport, I guarantee you other people are interested in it as well and are willing to pay either for that information and to learn from you, or at the very least are willing to consume the information for free, at which point you could make money off advertising. Knowing your audience is also something that's very important. If Pam had started a personal finance blog trying to appeal to everybody interested in personal finance, she probably wouldn't have gotten too far. There's tons of competition for that. But because Pam's slant about healthy living, being a mom, and being frugal, well, there's a whole lot of other moms out there and women out there that can relate to that type of info, and they comprise Pam's audience. If you take a look at Mama Brown Thumb's website, from the second you click on the site, it's clear who it's for. Everything from the design to the fonts used, to the Pinterest boards and things featured on the site, you immediately know what the site is about. And upon some further investigation, if you see your mission statement, it says if you're a busy person who wants to be healthy, live naturally, and save money, you're in the right place. Pam has carved out a great little business for herself. It brings in good income and is part of her lifestyle and something that she enjoys doing and something that she's building for herself for the future. Sure, luck and circumstance and all that jazz play roles in your success, but Pam has done two things very well. She's been consistent and she knows her audience. And when you do those two things, luck is sure to find you in the long run. Well, guys, that is today's side hustle story. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you were inspired by it. And if you enjoyed this episode, please hit the thumbs up button below. And if you're not already subscribed, please hit that subscribe button below and ring that bell as well. Anyhow, guys, until next week, this is Rules for Rebels and Side Hustle Tuesdays, signing off.